Hello everyone, this will be our second podcast. Welcome back to the channel, your wormhole from tradfi to DeFi.
Don't get it wrong, man.
Yeah, they are. It's okay. No, Matt, our guest today is a calming presence, right?
Thanks for being here.
When he's not here, then, another hole comes up.
Chaos. Some other word that comes
Yeah,
up.
some other hole come up. Welcome to the pod, Matt.
Thanks.
Actually, do you prefer Matt or Matty? Just curious.
Matt is fine, Matty is fine.
Okay, I don't know which one you think.
It's quite mad. We save 0.5 seconds or something.
Yeah, okay, Matt it is, okay. But I'll forget and say Matty also. But look, actually, if people want to hear your full story, I highly recommend them to catch the Yamcha Sessions podcast. Maybe we can put this in the link. John, Andrew, and Poige was one. But I want to start off this podcast by maybe giving a sense of not just what you do yet, but how you got into crypto.
Okay. Like my own journey into crypto.
Yes.
Right?
How do you do that?
Okay, so I started, actually, a friend told me that you can invest in crypto without buying Bitcoin or that. So I was like, there's such thing not. Basically, it was just this app where you buy USDT, which is a USD Tether. It's a cryptocurrency. It's a stable coin, which is like $1. Its value is always 1 USD. And then you just need to deposit that amount there. And whatever amount you deposit, basically these guys of the app, they will trade for you on your behalf. Yeah, so like arbitrage trade where they will find loops and holes here where I can sell my USD here for a bit more expensive. They weren't just accepting USDT, they were accepting Bitcoin, Ethereum, and also USDT. But obviously I liked that I didn't have to buy any Bitcoin and Ethereum, so I got into that. It was actually very lucrative. I think it was like 0.5% a day or something. Or I don't remember. It's really, really high. So at that point, hey, stable coins, no capital risk kinda, and you just watch the passive income grow, right? But then I think 1 month in, this was in April or May 2021.
Oh, pandemic time.
Yeah. And then I think it was Bitcoin reaching either an all-time low or a high. I can't remember. I think it was an all-time. That year the yearly low lah. And then that's when they kind of ran away with the money, like the guys. Yeah.
And are they based in Malaysia or something? Are you guys able to track them somewhat?
They are a team. The founding team is from Singapore. Yeah. Wow. But yeah, they had like lawsuits and all that. They even had shareholders that were very pissed at them as well. They seem to show like everything is quite solid, where they have like, live footage or like real footage of their team trading in Vietnam, trading in Singapore, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But
Are you at liberty to say who they are?
I don't know them personally, but the app is called Torque.
Oh, interesting.
Okay.
It's not the first time the name has popped up.
Yeah, okay. Then I roughly know the story. I believe it has something to do with not so much the entire team. I believe one member of the team actually took the money away. Yeah, I believe the CFO or something like that, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, that's a story for another day. But I wanna something you mentioned interesting. How come you said that? You like the fact that you didn't have to buy Bitcoin or Ethereum?
Yeah, I think I didn't understand Bitcoin or Ethereum back then.
Right.
All I understood up to that point was I started taking a stocks course, and I'm just understanding the fundamentals of like how to value it, like how to value if this is a good stock, and all that kind of stuff. So I didn't understand Bitcoin or Ethereum that way. So I was happy to like, okay, if I can put my money somewhere and I got passive income, I'm happy with that lah. Like, and I just know that okay, there's some risk. The risk is obviously that something happens to the traders lah, which then I was already like putting my money in different like forex traders and all those kind of auto traders for me. So I was like, okay, I'm okay with this kind of a risk. So but didn't expect it to flop that intense lah.
But were you aware that you should not be putting everything inside it, or did you go ham? You were aware lah.
No, I was aware. Don't put everything in.
Okay.
But I would say that's probably one of the bigger holdings then. Quite a big chunk. But I would say still, didn't go ham on it. That'll be crazy.
So yeah, you got a question?
No, so your story, you started off, like all of us, we started off with, I suppose, Bitcoin, Ethereum, at least in our crypto journey, right? And then we dive deeper in the rabbit hole. Most degens start off that way, but you start off with stablecoin farming, and it makes sense because it's very stable and it returns you a significant amount day to day.
Yeah.
After that rug incident, right? Like I suppose if I were in your shoes, I'll probably look at crypto as a damn dangerous place and pull myself out.
Yeah.
And you are where you are today. We'll explore that later, deep into the crypto world. Why did you not turn back? Why go deeper since that exploit?
Oh yeah, okay. I personally, ever since then, I found my friend who also introduced me to, my friend who introduced me to this, to talk, story close. And I found another friend who was already in crypto, was in DeFi. And then it was on the Polygon network, like where he was like farming, like using stable coins. I think the whole idea of, I found out from this guy that actually he is putting stable coins in and getting some money. So I was like, oh wow, so there is this thing going on. And so I started to do my own research. I went on YouTube, looked out for like people who are farming using DeFi. Came across this YouTuber called Taiki Maeda. So he's quite degen, but he has also quite a solid like fundamental like humble farmer thesis, he calls it, where how he made his boom then. So Polygon was booming then. They had a lot of liquidity mining incentives, a lot of incentives for projects to start there, etc. And like the APRs are very high if you deposit your stake there. He was talking about how he made a lot of money farming essentially protocols that hadn't blown up yet. Stuff like, first off, I think he was doing it with Matic. Matic is quite ironic because Matic is a layer 1 token. It's the main token, right? But he was using, I forgot what DeFi protocol he was using, but that's how he started. And then Matic boomed and he just watched it like basically moon early. But he was a Bitcoin holder as well. But so that's where I kind of got started with DeFi and realized, oh, okay, I can do this. Like I can just provide stablecoin and earn money. Okay lah. And so I was on the hunt, very degen, always looking for high double or triple digit APRs with stablecoins. And back then you would use, I don't think they had runkdoc.io then to tell you if this is a risky farm or whatever. I was using like vfat.tools. vfat is like the most OG, like the layout is, the UI is worse than Curve. Curve is already damn 8-bit, right? This is really like, look at it, you're like, this guy just code HTML and just put it out there. But interestingly enough, like the vfat tools dude is behind 100 Finance for Phantom, which is something like it's just like a stablecoin protocol kind of thing where you get to borrow land as well.
Right.
Yeah. So that is quite solid lah. The guy who came up with that UI, even though it doesn't look very professional. Yeah.
But it did the job lah.
Yeah, it's still doing the job. In fact, it expand crazy. So like you get a lot of degen farms there, but obviously do your own research. It's very, very degen. Like you really need to look at a lot of things lah before you ape in.
Okay.
Right. So since so then when you did all these studies and all that, where was the first place you go to? In addition to what you mentioned, where are some of the places that you go to do your farm, and also how should one farm stable coins? I guess what is your method?
Okay. First question, like what were the places I went to and all that, right? At first, when I didn't know much, so I would refer to Taiki and his videos. So he would say he's farming in like this farm, like I think one farm I still remember. This is later on, but like DinoSwap. But I think before then also he did introduce Iron Finance for a while. But he wasn't very a big believer about it because I think APRs were a bit high and he had his reasons why he didn't want to.
And you have a story of Iron Finance, right?
Yeah, and I went into Iron Finance anyway.
Okay, so some context. So I actually don't know much except for what happened, roughly. What is Iron Finance? What chain is it on and what happened?
So Iron Finance is on the Polygon network. They were allowing you to mint their Iron token using your stablecoin. So that Iron token is always pegged to USD. So they have their own stablecoin. Okay, and then they have another Titan token, which is it's like, you know, if you understand Luna and UST, it's kind of like that where
It's the governance token.
where yes, Titan is the governance and like the token where it's like Luna like that, where the value is volatile, whereas then you have UST, which is a stable coin, which in their sense is Iron.
Iron
Yep.
is stable.
Yeah. And so they tried to do something like a Luna peg as well
Okay.
to keep Iron at 1 all the time.
Right.
But I think there was something that happened to the Titan token later on that created sort of a bank run / death spiral, which was very, very bad. Like Titan went like from, I think it was up to about 100. I remember it was like single digit or something, and it went up to like double digit, almost triple digit, and then that's when a bank run started, and the death spiral started. It went straight to like plunge like to 0. So whoever was in a liquidity pool or pair with like Titan in it, you get hit like full on straight 0 lah.
So what was that like? I mean, obviously.
I mean, I wasn't in that one. Thank God. I was
okay.
like, I was still in the like, stable coins. I'm happy because like stable coins at 500% APR. Why not, right?
Well, that's crazy though.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
it's very crazy. That was what honestly was one of my favorite DeFi protocols to be in then.
Okay.
Didn't find anything as crazy as that, but it was very Ponzi. I remember they hit like billion TVR at one point. So it was very crazy. It got the attention of Mark Cuban. I didn't know who Mark Cuban was then.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Yeah, then it's ironic, but the bank run happened like I think 1 or 2 days after he came in.
Wow, shit. Yeah, he lost like.
And he lost a
Easy.
lot lah.
And then he was
lost
whining on
millions,
Twitter or
man.
something like
And
that.
he came
right?
whining on
Yeah.
Twitter as well.
Then his
But,
research
I
about
mean, yeah, but
DYR.
that's DeFi. So yeah. So to answer your question, yeah, that's like the first kind of protocol I remember I was still
Dude,
in.
this 2 out of 2 quite bad
Yeah,
investments
man.
for you. Wait.
Yeah, man.
Like
Huh?
2 out of 2 since the beginning of like if I were in your situation after one like incident like the USDT auto trade on, I would given up already. Okay, I want to hear what happens next after the
Yeah.
Iron Finance issue.
So
for you.
after Iron Finance, my loss was with the Iron token. So you have to be Iron. The pair was Iron and USDC. So that's where I got hit because Iron went off peg. We went to like 0.7 instead of 1.
So your value of half?
30% down.
30% down.
30%.
With 30% down. That was my first ever 30% down in crypto. I was like, oh my God. And then
Yeah,
like,
better than like negative 100, right?
yeah, but I see people losing completely, so I don't feel as bad lah. I feel like okay, not so bad. So that 30% down. Me and my friend thinking, when do we cash out on this? We like, does it ever go back on peg and stuff like that? Turned out, eventually, the team was responsive and said that, you know, there's a window here. Our program will like the protocol will no longer run because of the current circumstance. They'll find a way to reimburse, and they were working on that plan, right? And they said, in the meantime, just wait. We'll give you news about how you can be reimbursed for your Iron. We know that it's off peg and all that lah. And they said, okay, we will buy your Iron back at this certain time at this moment. I think they bought it back for like 0.75 or 0.8. I can't remember. Yeah, so a lot of us bought. My friend went back in. He said, just go back in lah. Like just at a loss law, we'll just lose like 20% lah. It's quite sad. And I followed suit. And then the crazy part is later on, Iron Finance V2 launches. They launched an ICE token. They kind of get back their liquidity. They got back people to believe in them. And then there was another story for Titan, where Titan was their coin right now. Titan became a meme coin that people started to pump like crazy. And so like it became what it is, a typical crypto Twitter degen, you know, when things go south, people create their own stuff like memes and all that. And ironically, they went back to peg after that. Like after people bought back at 0.8 whatever, you wait like another like 2-3 months like that. Then suddenly the peg is back at 1.
Is this
and they're still using the Iron token. And I'm like, what on? So I feel like being ripped off, like 30% gone just like that. I was like, okay, no what?
Is it still running up to today?
Yeah,
I think they are. I haven't really checked though.
So you've obviously left lah, right?
Yeah, that's long. I think after that I just didn't look back.
Right.
Yeah.
And then like So I mean, I guess how about since then, right? What have you been looking at? Whether it's farms or protocols?
Where do you migrate from since
Yeah.
I think migrating is a very real and quite a frequent thing for me then. But then I realized that I couldn't keep up with my daily work and what's happening in DeFi.
What were you doing back then? Yeah,
I was in HR. Yeah,
it's a full-time job lah.
full-time job. Yeah, and that time cannot work from home. That time was a weird MCO on MCO off period.
The half MCO, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So ever since then, just been looking around at different protocols, whatever that I see that might have a good future, but I still didn't really understand like layer ones. I was learning about Bitcoin and Ethereum along the way. So like as I'm farming in DeFi, and then obviously you have to pick up a little bit of here and there. Why people want to hold Bitcoin? Why people buy Ethereum and all that? Taiki was a big Bitcoin holder. Like he held quite a bit of Bitcoin in his Aave, and he would always talk about like having a big collateral in Aave, and then he would use the strategy of borrowing stable coins, using those stable coins to farm. That's how he would kind of create this loop of wealth for him.
He never has to sell his Bitcoin.
He never has to sell his collateral. He uses the value of his Bitcoin to take loans, farm, pay back the loans. His Bitcoin is still there at a good entry position, and then he's just making DeFi money make money for him basically. Yeah.
Right. So today, what would you say is your portfolio in terms of the split, right? So I'm not sure if you own any non-stable crypto assets. I know you're a big fan of stable coins, and actually what was very unique to me when I first met you is that you were totally fine just doing stable farming, and that is rare because, like for example, Anchor, right? People say 20%, yeah, it's really good, but people in crypto are not there for that amount.
Yeah.
But you seem to be contented with not necessarily Anchor, but certainly what stable coins alone can give you.
Yeah.
And of course, in volatile periods like this past 3 months, would have done decent for you, right? So how do you split between the stable and the non-stable assets in your own portfolio?
In my crypto portfolio.
Yeah,
So in my crypto portfolio, I would say 30% is in Anchor. Yeah. That sometimes that goes up to a bit more. My default mindset is like 80% in there, because I most of the time honestly don't know what to do, so I leave it there until I know what to do. Then we'll take some out. We'll take like a 5% out to play, or we'll take a 10% out to play. That's what I typically do. I have quite a bit. I think maybe like 5 to 10% in some of the osmosis tokens. Osmosis. I have some osmosis. I stake some osmosis. I have some as well, but these are very small, like a few hundred kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because they were good projects before they blew up, and they did blow up, right? But like I kind of missed the train to sell off my because it was a small portion only, right? Then if I sold it, then it would have been a quick profit lah.
Must have staked it lah, so that's 21 days period.
Yeah. And yes, because of the staking, 21 period of staking on anything on osmosis, that makes it difficult to kind of move here and there. The other 30%, I think the other 30% now is sitting in stables. I'm not quite sure what to do with them as well. And then I have
the other 30%. These stables are split in what kind of protocol?
Are they in Anchor?
Actually, because of what's been happening during the crisis, right, I actually left some just hanging there. And for quite a bit, I didn't really touch it because I didn't quite know what to do in that market conditions. We don't know if it's going to go lower. I'm quite biased towards like, they say that the US thing is all priced in with the raising the rates and all that. But for me, I still like, they haven't quite resolved that in stocks. So I think it will hit the crypto side.
Right.
I mean, that's what I believe. So I just, maybe just wait it out, leave it there. And I like to leave some in centralized exchanges during that volatile period because if I need to pull the trigger, I can do it fast. Like I can just put some limit orders fast.
Actually, that's true. That's a good point.
So that's what I did. So I had half I was, like you said, half in Anchor and the other half is just waiting here. And then the rest is just basically, did I have any in other protocols? I recently am in one quite degen one. I just moved like the same amount of what I have in Anchor into there. It's on Phantom. It's called Excalibur Exchange.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think they launched early March, right after the FUD and everything. Or like, we're kind of still recovering from the FUD. Early March. It's quite a good protocol. They let you farm their EXC token, their Excalibur token, using stable coins. And then they have the typical degen pair, which is their token, Excalibur, paired with Phantom, the native token. The standard, how they basically grab liquidity, earn fees, and increase adoption of their token, right? So that one gives you, it's the only way to farm their token called Grail, which gives you dividends. And the dividends are paid out in Phantom and UST. So I was like, this is quite good. Yeah, so very interesting. I mean, very degen, start off with like 4-digit APRs, right?
Because USDC is the main stable coin in Phantom, I know. UST
but
is what they're
UST.
paying out.
Yeah, they're paying out in, their dividends are paying out in
Wow.
Rep Phantom and UST. It's very weird.
UST.
Wait, sorry. Like you're saying the protocol is called Excalibur, but the governance token is Grail.
A governance token is Grail, correct. And there's no way to buy Grail. You can sell your Grail, but you can't buy it. You have to farm it.
Farm it and
you have to farm
the
it.
emission for the next few years or whatever.
Yeah, correct.
Oh, that's very interesting.
Yeah.
And so 4-digit APR?
Now it's at 3 lah.
Okay.
So Grail is going for like, I think the last I checked yesterday was like 400 something APR for holding Grail. Okay, I farmed quite a bit of Grail. Just leave it there. And obviously I had a bit of risk because I exposed myself to, I turned my stables to like the Excalibur and Phantom pair. Bought in that one at about like when Excalibur was like 1.9 or something. I think Excalibur is like 1.5 now. But like it's basically farming my Grail. So hopefully even though I walk away with a bit of loss from that side, maybe my Grail dividends might make up for it.
It's a DEX lah, right? Just to be clear.
So they have a DEX to swap as well for that. And then they have this thing going on. And you also can lock. So they have a 30-day lock, like a flexible, I wouldn't say flexible lock, but you can choose lah.
Right.
They give you 2 slots where you can, maybe this slot I want to lock up to 15 days. Then it's locked for 15 days. Then I can use this slot to lock up to 30 days.
And then the more you lock, the more...
Yes, there's a multiplier lah. There's a for locking up to 30 days, you get 50% increased APR.
Yeah,
right.
So everyone's following the curve model of locking.
Everyone.
But these guys, I think they didn't want to do the whole 1, 2, 3, 4 year VE curve model tokenomics thing.
Yeah. So speaking of curve, right? Because you're into stable coins, so for sure you've heard of curve. Maybe you've looked at it, right? Actually, we plan on doing a video on it. I think maybe next week, right?
Oh, nice.
Yeah. We'll do our newbie best, but
for pool.
Yeah, what is like your first of all, how would you explain the curve wars, and also, I guess, how do you think about it? Why is it important to people in crypto or even outside of crypto?
I would not try to explain it. It's a bit too next level. The reason why I wouldn't explain it because I dare say I don't fully understand it.
Okay.
I have a gist of what is happening that is making all these protocols that have their own stable coin kind of race for stake in what Curve has, because Curve being the biggest stable coin player, right? In DeFi generally, they found a way to get everyone to come pour liquidity towards them to kind of incentivize their gauge the most, so that their own pools, their factory pools that are created in Curve, is more lucrative than if you are not
increased
in first
adoption
place.
For each of their
as well,
right?
Adoption for that as well. But I think why everyone is trying to push liquidity there, or like bribe. They have this bribe system which until today I still don't understand. All I know is that if you got the highest bribe, you kind of have the highest APRs for your pool, and therefore everyone wants to kind of be involved with your pool. Let's say if Frax Finance, if Frax Finance is the one leading it, then they have an increased boosted APR for their pool. So obviously everyone wants that. Like, I see it's just like it's a war for liquidity lah.
Yeah. Stablecoin is big money right now.
Your question?
No, I think I suppose question to further know upon this part of your crypto journey, right? Is after that, after Iron, you went to a little bit more degen right now, although it's kind of very safe at Anchor and a bit more degen with Excalibur.
Yeah.
I think just want to zoom out to a little bit on your personal life side. Like, I mean, you were working at a full-time HR job, but how I know Matty, so for context, is I actually took up your service of myDefiGuide.
Oh yeah.
Just to understand a little bit more of the landscape in the crypto sphere, outside of what I'm stuck in. I was so stuck in Terra Luna at that point. So I want to thank you for introducing me to things like Saber, what's in Solana, a bit more on using things like DeFi Llama, etc. Why did you start myDefiGuide?
Oh yeah. Thanks for taking the course as well.
Still available right now. So
I still do it like this hourly guidance thing, but it's not what I'm banking for now, because I did that then because I wanted to actually try to get into the Web3 world, try to get a job in DeFi, try to really see if there's anything I can build in DeFi.
HR just wasn't your thing, huh?
Yeah. What drove me in DeFi really to look at so many protocols, apart from the crazy degen APIs, is the fact that I actually love community projects. And I love that behind every project in DeFi that's going on, right, is the community that back. It's very community based. If you technically lose the support of community, you really lose a big stake in the game. But to answer your question, was it myDefiGuide, right?
Yeah.
How did I get into it, or like what
your motivation behind starting it?
Okay, my motivation was I was in DeFi myself with only like 1 or 2 friends that I knew back then. So my online community or whoever I'm learning from is just whoever I meet online lah, apart from my 2 or 3 in real life friends who actually use DeFi. I didn't have anyone to talk about, so that's one reason I feel like it's kind of bummer. I think I need people to kind of have counsel so that I don't make stupid decisions. That's one. Which I tend to do in DeFi, even though
stablecoins.
Even though stablecoins, you still can make really foolish decisions because you didn't do enough research and all that stuff. And motivation was I didn't want to do HR. I didn't want to do HR long term. I knew that I'm very interested in DeFi, and I thought, hey, since this is kind of new, I think people will benefit. I mean, like, hey, who doesn't want like a lot higher percentage annual returns compared to what we have in banks, EPF and all that, right? So I thought, okay, maybe that's something people would want to know. I told my dad about it. I told him that, hey, this is what I've been doing. And I kind of tried to take him down the rabbit hole with DeFi. I just started guiding my dad first. And I forgot that actually there's so many things you need to be kind of tech savvy about to get into DeFi. 100%. And then I realized that my dad obviously struggled quite a bit with that. Even though I would have to literally guide him step by step. Do this. Set up your MetaMask. Move your money from centralized exchange to your decentralized wallet, your MetaMask, and then approve this transaction, deposit in. And he was kind of following me in on the whatever stablecoin farm I will be in, he will be in lah. I think the more legit one was in Avalanche called DeFrost Finance. They're still there. And their stablecoin is also off pack, but thank God it's not like Iron Finance 0.7, it's like 0.93 or something. So my motivation then was really trying to help people around me lah. And so I did this thing, and then I posted some stories on Instagram asking that, hey, this is what I'm getting. Are you happy with what you're getting in bank? No? Okay. And running all these things on Instagram. Response was, full marketing. I love doing marketing. And then response was pretty good. And so
that's where I connected with you also, right?
Yeah, correct. That's where we connected through Instagram and all that.
No, I think
through Ross as well.
I think it's Discord.
I know you joined.
I joined the Discord. Then I'm like, hey, let's communicate on Instagram.
On Instagram,
yeah. I think it was like sub 20 that time. DeFi guide in Discord.
Yeah, so few people, and I'm so grateful. Really, I think, because myDefiGuide hadn't become something solid. It was experimental then, and I got to learn quite a bit from you about how to do marketing, how to how to really kind of simplify your product or your service and then just put it out there. And whatever you see today is really the sum of labors of your advice and really, and just hanging out with you guys really has kind of given me more confidence to push this.
Right.
And my fiance coming along doing a bit of the design as well.
Some of them cool, by the way.
And she's a great designer.
Web3 couple, eh?
Yeah. And it's kind of legit lah. It's not so. I mean, it's still a bit sketch because I am a bit all over the place. That's
Sure.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what motivated me.
Just to reinforce that business model of yours, I think it's a much needed, sorely needed service, because even with me being in DeFi for a while, but being stuck to one chain, right? The confidence to really explore out of it, to really, hey, how do I use Saber? How do I use a Phantom wallet? These are different wallets in different protocols. Having someone there who has been through it before, just to handhold you, guide you, I think is super, super necessary. So even if someone who somewhat is experienced in DeFi, imagine the person on the streets who want to dabble with it. Imagine what will happen if they lose, like, hey, my $20 is now gone. Where is it? Having someone next to them in their journey, I think, is a much necessary, needed companionship.
You know, even something as crazy as when you send from Binance to a Web3 wallet, right? The anxiety, right?
It's so real, dude.
It's like, okay, where is it? When is it? Especially if you send it on a slower chain like Ethereum or Bitcoin. Right, you do it on Phantom, no problem, right? It's very fast, right? Or even if you do it on stablecoins, it's quite fast.
Yeah.
But the others, like, then they ask, hey, where's my money? Where's my money? Where's my money? Right?
Yeah.
So I know. Now you do a lot of community management for Web3 stuff, and I know you're also really into not just guiding people how to onboard, how to on-ramp, how to think about stable coins, but also how to get into Web3, right? I wanna get your thoughts on because you're fresh, right? You started, I think, in March, right? Actually,
March 2021. First exposed to crypto, and then like in terms of
Web3
Web3 work, I just started joining a Web3 company in March.
Yeah,
it's not even a month.
Tell us a bit about that.
How to get a Web3 job,
what do you do first? Tell us.
Yes, actually.
Okay, cool. I'm a community manager, which means I will moderate the chats in like Discord, Telegram, and also kind of manage their socials, like IG, Instagram. Not so much Instagram actually, more to Twitter, because Web3 lives on Twitter. So kind of grow their Twitter, kind of grow their Discord as well. Their Discord was okay. It was a Discord, but kind of like looks a bit like my Discord when I just started it, like sketchy. I won't say sketchy, but like it's not efficient and like really doing what it's meant to do. And also activity there was kind of low, but I think I wouldn't expect more from like a DeFi pro. So like these guys that I'm with, their DeFi protocol was one I was actually using way back when I first started DeFi myself in like May. Yeah, so it was kind of full circle. I was like, I get to work with these guys that I kind of just started using them. So they have two products. One is DEX, a decentralized exchange called Define, and the other is their cross-chain app. It's called Router. Same company. And so I was using Define back then because Taiki was actually quite pumped about it. Taiki literally wrote the Define wave. He farmed Define at a very low price, and then when it boomed, right, he just sold the top lah, which worked out really nice for him. It was a stable. They had stablecoin farm, and back then Define was one of the starting protocols when Polygon had a lot of liquidity mining incentives. They were one of them, and they held quite a bit of liquidity back then. Until today, I think QuickSwap is still the biggest, followed by Sushi in Polygon, but back then when Define just launched, after their ICO everything, and they just officially launched their DEX, they came close, like I think third or fourth in terms of like liquidity. For a DEX, quite strong. But how to get into Web3, like you say, for me, I actually had it in mind that, okay, I'm going to do this myDefiGuide thing full time, like leaving my job. And if that doesn't work out, I'm going to use this as kind of like my portfolio / resume, something to like present or market to as my resume for the Web3 jobs out there. And I said, okay, I will try to get into one of these jobs. And so that's how I started applying. I started applying towards the end of January, the first month of realizing that myDefiGuide ain't gonna pay my bills. I mean, they did pay, I didn't go fully broke, but it's not enough to sustain me with the lifestyle we have and inflation and in life now. So yeah, fiance said, hey, think you better get a job. Back then we were both kind of like not getting, we were kind of jobless at that point. She just left her job in agency life as well. And so I went for a few, I didn't get an interview yet. I'm sending out and like just putting my name out there, applying for jobs. Got a reply from a VC company in Singapore, which I went for an interview, didn't quite get it. This was early February. Then I reached out to this person on Twitter as well. It's an NFT project. We're still in touch today, but kind of really didn't take off. And then there's Router and DeFi, which is the one I'm with now. They found me, very ironically, through a Discord, Questbook's Discord. So Questbook is like, I think a community for like coders, Web3, people want to get into Web3 kind of thing. I was posting there because they had a job section. So I was joining all these different Discords that had a job section where coders are. So I think if you're really wanting to look for a Web3 job, you need to, I would say for anything Web3 or actually jobs in general, you have to go where the people are at.
Yeah.
So that's really my mindset. I was like, okay, I can't just sit here waiting for a Web3 job to fall in my lap. I have to go there lah. And so I basically dig deep, go into Twitter, go into their Discords. If there's a job section, I'm there. And then I'm just like shamelessly pasting my summary of myself of like, here's what I can do, kind of like pros and cons kind of thing. I'll be honest with my cons, saying like, I kind of could use more experience lah. I'm very fresh about this, but here's what I also did. I've done this with myDefiGuide, all the things I've done in myDefiGuide, how long I've been investing in DeFi, and me writing ebook through myDefiGuide, an ebook for myDefiGuide, right? Yeah, all these kind of things. Just putting what you can do there and just kind of putting a summary out there where people feel confident and actually can feel that you're credible. So that's just what I did and how that's
pretty
how
proactive, man. I have to say, honestly.
Yeah, it is something you have to be very proactive about. Like Web3 jobs aren't going to be on Job Street. They're not going to be. They could be on some crypto jobs list website, right? But you gotta. I feel like when someone actually responds to you and says, "Hey, I'm interested. Let's do an interview." I think you have to kind of stand out. Let's be very honest.
Is this like
any other job, in any industry, whatever
you do,
HR,
you would know.
Yeah, exactly. In HR, so I'm in recruiting some more, right? So I know the number one thing is you have to stand out, and there's so many ways to do that. Yeah.
This is a business opportunity for you, man. You help people to prep them for DeFi or Web3
job,
bro.
Actually, that's where myDefiGuide is kind of headed now. So I've moved
alpha,
like
bro.
So. It's not quite a secret, but I think we are building something under the hood. We're building a community now. So I'm big about community. That's why I've moved from myDefiGuide, the traditional education model where one teacher to one student kind of thing, to like it's Web3. You can learn this for free online. So I feel I can't be here to handhold or like guide people forever. But if we have a community of people who are willingly like support, kind of like what the DeFIRL degens are kind of chatting about. People are asking questions like, hey, how do I do this? What is this? This one's safer. Like legit check. They will ask all these things. And that's what I want to grow as well. But mine is really focused more on like onboarding into DeFi and Web3. So how to get into the simple gains on DeFi, like using stablecoins, something very closer to what we are familiar with the tradfi world, and also how to get into Web3 if you're looking for work. So I think the two things people really want most when it comes to money, right? A job and also savings. So we're kind of like working on those areas, but now I've just started to build community. I actually just posted through myDefiGuide like, hey, we're building something. If you want to build with us, just hit me up. So I get these people. What first started was this kid from UK. He's from Puchong. He's from UK. Shout out to
wait.
UK Perdana.
Born in Puchong.
No. He's born in Puchong. Studying in UK right now. He's studying in UK.
UK.
No, not UK Perdana, bro. Not Ulu Klang.
Okay.
Yeah. So kid from Puchong, born there. And then he's doing his degree in UK right now. Reached out to me after one of my DefiGuide AMA sessions and said that, hey, I'm thinking to do like this internship, like and all that. It was summer for him. So I was like, wow, kind of timely, because I was thinking, okay, now I'm going to start my Web3 job. I have no time to do my DeFi guide anymore. How do we run? And he wants to come alongside, support, if he can intern as well.
Support whatever lah.
Yeah.
Right.
And so, so got him on board, and that's when I started thinking, okay, my DeFi guide isn't going to be forever me, and I think it's time we grew the community that I actually always wanted to grow now.
Right,
and so he was one of the first few ones, and then I posted hey, anyone wants to build something, and then one very long time follower of my DeFi guide just responded and said, hey, I'm interested. And I got to meet him at one of the co-working space and just chat with him, just lay down the vision, what we want to do, and he's on board. So we're kind of the core, me, this guy, Andrew, and Junsheng, the dude from UK. We are kind of the core, and we've got 2 more people that I won't want to dox them at this point yet, because we're still in the building stage. What we're going to start off with is just launch consistent content on Instagram first, kind of put it out there, and it's not like, okay, you do this like how a traditional company works, but it's more of like, hey, I know you have no idea about DeFi, you have no idea about Web3, but you want to learn.
Yeah.
So here, let's learn hands-on. Come on, you have any questions about DeFi? Ask. We have like fortnightly or like regular meetings, so we can have a quick chat, team meeting as well. But in terms of for content, we are the ones taking turns to do like weekly content. So these people who have no idea about DeFi Web3 are getting their hands in dirty down the rabbit hole. They get to like hands-on, come up with their own content, which we all kind of agree about. We have a template, and then like, we just put it under the myDefi Builders Instagram, which is nothing now, so please don't join yet, or don't expect anything to be there. It's really all alpha.
Can we apply for internship?
Yeah. Let's go.
I mean, like, you can be a contributor. We're open. We want to grow, and but we're trying to make it very bite-sized, kind of like what DeFi SG is doing. I'm a huge fan of DeFi SG, and their Instagram is like super noob friendly, like newbie friendly, and I don't mean noob in a bad way. I mean like we were all normies and noobs at one point, right? So, and I still am learning. So I think there's this huge gap of just the community teaching the soon-to-be DeFi Web3 community that's not yet. So I noticed that it's very easy for us, once we're in DeFi, we're sitting comfortably on our stack or like whatever we're farming, right? But the rest of the world looks at us as aliens talking in a weird language. And I think there is a very big need of that bridge. So that's why I'm moving my DeFi guy in that direction right now. So I will still teach the hourly thing.
I only have a couple of questions. Then I'll just leave it for Brad to finish it off. The first one is, how do you talk a little bit about money and savings in preparing onboarding people into Web3, right? What was your game plan before deciding to quit your job? When you say, okay, now the conditions have been met to quit my job and join into Web3. Like, was there a plan for your savings? Was there a plan to, manage your stakeholders, like, for example, your fiance, your parents? What was that like?
Or was it just YOLO?
Or it was just like, do first, then explain later?
So, with different people, it was different. I mean, like, with my parents, it was a bit different because they're very conservative, and
as one would expect,
yeah, typical Asian parents. So, if you have typical Asian parents, if you know what I mean, like, like, if you make any decision, they will yell off the top. They'll lose their cool right away.
Crazy.
The game plan, I think I did mention, was basically try to do the business for 1 month, and then if it doesn't work out, we will apply for work. If it really doesn't work out, I will then apply for some job, which I still believe inside of me, deep down, even if no one wants to hire me in Web3, I'm sure there is one company out there that is willing to take that risk, even through some sort of internship lah. So I was like, okay, like, it's too big to ignore at that point. I think at that point, we're talking December 2021.
Right.
By now, NFTs, holding Bored Apes and all that, you're not early anymore. Like, it is already like the common person does know what an NFT is already. So I realized, and Visa and big companies have already pumped money into this sector, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if they pump money into like DeFi protocols, I will understand, because that's kind of solid and looks like what current finance have, right? The traditional finance we have. But to pump money into art and a piece of JPEG and like NFT, to me that's a super bullish sign to go like big money has made some decisions and money will keep coming into this area and keep actually accelerate development. So I like, okay, this is now a sector if I whether I like it or not. So the game plan was I spoke to my boss first, obviously, and just very, very honest, telling them how I'm very passionate about this and I just don't feel the same with what I'm doing at recruitment.
It's me.
Yeah, honestly, just with what I'm doing at recruitment doesn't give me the same fulfillment. And thankfully for the bosses there, they were very, very supportive. They said there's no point if I'm not 100% here.
Nice.
And they said that they were the one that actually said that, and you probably can't do this, as much as you can try to do this by the side, do your little myDefiGuide by the side. But they said that no, recruitment is a full-time, it's very taxing, it will take all of you. And so I was like, okay, I guess I have to choose. And so I had to choose. And so I made up that game plan, the 1 month in myDefiGuide, and then go all out or go broke really for try to get a job in Web3.
Yeah.
That was my plan.
Yeah, but based on what you're saying, right, dude, I think you're a very structured person. Like you give yourself a time now, 1 month, 2 months,
That's a really short time actually.
Dude, I think honestly, with crypto being so all around the place, right, I think that's a very good trait to have. I just want to say. Sorry to disturb you. Go back to your story.
All good. Yeah, but yeah, I wouldn't say I'm very structured, but I can plan. I can, if I put my mind to it, put some discipline, sit myself down. Yes, we can plan and get things done. So that is the game plan. And with my parents, obviously, I didn't tell them right away.
Yeah.
I actually only told them after I made some money in my DeFiGuide.
Okay.
Like 1 month in, and then I was like, okay, you know what? I actually left my job last month. Like, I've been doing this, and I haven't gone broke yet. Like, I can support myself. But they still obviously a bit like, oh, okay, business, really can make money, man, that kind of thing. Okay, then I'll just like, I'm also kind of applying for jobs now, just because I don't know how long this can sustain me. And so I started applying for jobs. And so I think February was the riskiest month because I actually didn't get any clients in February and Chinese New Year coming in and everything. But I felt that was the right thing to do in terms of like focusing on my job hunt. And that was when all the interviews were done in February. Got the job with Referrals the middle of February to start in end of the month. And I also got a freelance offer from an NFT project, which I am their moderator by the side as well. The pay has been good because I do the same thing on both my full-time and my freelance job. So it can be time-consuming at times, like when things get a bit busy.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, but the great part that I love about Web3 is that the flexibility in timing. They are very chill people because we work in different time zones. My full-time team is from India. They are 2.5 hours behind our time. And they're very understanding, even though they work really hard, they work until very late. But they're understanding, like, I just need to tell them expectations. I'll just tell them, like, oh, I can do this, I can't do this. And they're quite understanding. Yeah, so very flexible. I like the flexibility that comes with it.
100%, man.
Yeah.
And of course, your fiancée will have been supportive of all of this. And because is it true she herself is also looking for something in Web3 now?
She was actually, she's not looking for something Web3.
Okay.
We did try, so we want to, we did say this of the Yamcha sessions.
Yep.
I did say that we were working on an NFT project because she wants to do her podcast actually. She wants to do a podcast, and for that reason, I thought it's centered around the topic of burnout and her journey burning out in her previous work lah. So that's the podcast is more to like discuss these burnout issues, let people get heard about.
Nice.
Really support people through burnout and also like inspire people through even her own journey, how burning out led her to discover like actually, is this what I want? This is not what I want. And then now she actually went towards, she's in a job now, not a Web3 job, but also a very niche job. She's a graphic recorder where if there's a TED talk or some talk by a company or something, right, at some forum or whatever, then they have speakers, right, and then you need to take notes. So instead of just taking notes, what she does is she draws a very nice, it looks like a tapestry, like a like those infomercials, very nice hand drawn one. So like using like Procreate to like draw the whole thing, and then you have all the points of the it's like note taking, but it's graphic note taking in a way.
Beautiful, aesthetic, good note taking.
Yes, correct. So she just started a job same time I started my Web3 job. So we both just started our jobs in March. Yeah, very nice.
Congrats to the
Congrats.
Yeah,
Agnes.
thanks.
You're watching this.
Okay, I have a last question on my side that I'll pass you on to Brad. This is a quick question, don't worry. Your top 5 stablecoins. Please give the right answer.
Wrong answer, you got walk out the door.
Yeah, wrong answer, you got it. Start with, it doesn't have to be in order lah. I know to be in order it will take some time to think, but
What's your top 5 stablecoin? Why is it
top
USD?
5
Okay, in no
stablecoin.
particular order, right? But I think that if I don't mention UST,
Yeah.
I might not walk out here
Gabe, we
alive.
kick you out, Gabe.
Literally, like lunatics run this. Like everything here is funded by Luna or UST. UST definitely sits in there because of, I think it's genius how they do the Luna UST mechanism. I don't know what you call that, but
The
it's
burn.
the whatever it is the burn, the first ever blockchain network to have both a volatile and non-volatile asset as their governance, or like to pay their gas fees, to basically run their things.
Their own chain as well.
Yeah, to sustain their chain. So I think that's genius. That's why I would say UST makes it to the top 5. The other, I would say, comes close. Not very popular as well, but I would say Frax.
Okay.
I've
So
been reading about it. It's amazing as well.
Frax came about the same time as Luna when they created. And if you understand Luna, you understand Frax.
Yeah.
So needless to say, it's basically Luna. It's basically UST, but it's not paying for its own chain. It's their own DeFi protocol, their own ecosystem that they created, Frax, and they live on. They are like accessible on almost every chain now.
Yeah.
So they started off with Polygon, and it's one of the ones. My farming journey using Taiki's method of farming something when it's cheap.
Humble farmer.
A humble farmer was with Frax actually. So back then you could stake like Frax and Meta, which is with both are stablecoins, algorithmic stablecoins. I think Frax is algorithmic. Meta is their basket-backed assets.
Asset-backed, yeah.
Asset-backed assets, yeah, correct. So both very stable, didn't really go off peg, all that. Farmed that, and they gave me Frax shares, and Frax shares boomed. When I started, Frax shares was like what, $4. When I sold, Frax shares was like I think 8 or something.
Nice.
Frax shares nowadays is like
Now 39,
freaking 20,
40.
39,
Thanks
30,
to the
40.
pool news lah.
Yeah. So Curve was where they really aped in. I think they were the early apers. That's why their Frax share is like super high now. Yep. So Frax being the next one, USD Frax. I would say USDC just because I use it quite a bit. And then, is there any other stable coin worth mentioning? I don't hold any other. So if you just go by what I hold, the other is USDT just because I need it on centralized exchanges. It's like the freaking USD that is super dodgy. I have reasons why I don't like it, but I can't help but every centralized exchange uses it. So just that. If there's any other stable coin, I think I was in a UST Cash. So Cash is the stable coin. It's a very weird stable coin. I'm only mentioning these because these are the only ones I actually interacted and used.
Right.
So I was farming with this on Solana. It was a farm where it's quite interesting. You pair UST and Cash, and they pay you out in their Saber tokens. They pay out in Luna as well.
Wow.
Yeah, not bad. Like this is
Interesting.
I think end of the year last year.
No meme. Magic internet money.
I sold that long time ago. Like I think with the FUD and everything, I was like, I thought meme was cool because before cross chain was a thing, they were the OG ones that made a cross chain thing popular. Like, yo, this our stablecoin got breached, can breach straight away. I was like, wow, like okay, and I actually used that breach quite often back then. Yeah, if not for the scandal with Sifu and Danieli, meme would be there. But yeah, just mentioning only stablecoins.
The best part is that from what I understand, the fundamentals hasn't really changed much for the spell tokenomics. It hasn't really changed much. It's just the association with the Danieli that push it down big. Yeah, and there was there was some depegging and there was some sort of spiral lah, but that got stabilized. But anyway, story for another day.
Yeah.
Brad, last questions. If not, you can just end it.
No, I suppose you somewhat answered this, but I just want to have your take on, you know, how do you see crypto in the next year, 2 years, 5 years, you know?
Well, we are at a point where crypto has changed so much in the last months. I think the fact that it was used during the war to send money, right? Just put it on spotlight.
They got a crypto punk, by the way, the Ukraine, right?
Yeah.
Wallet.
Yeah, so like, I think at one point they were going to launch NFTs like for people who send money through to Ukraine, right? So I was like, wow, you will never see that curveball coming. No one knew that the whole world will be exposed to crypto at such an extent. I would say we're coming closer to the day where I kept saying how tradfi and DeFi will coexist.
Yeah.
And they will coexist. As much as I'm a DeFi maxi, I would say your DeFi is nowhere without tradfi. So
Exactly.
I would say it's something that has to coexist in the future. So 2 to 5 years time is so many things can happen. Look, you could get a crypto job in 1 month. You could go from crypto user to a crypto like a Web3 worker in a few months as well.
You
So
get rubbed in 5 seconds.
and you can so it's still the Wild West, which I like about DeFi. As long as it's still developing, there's still Wild West. But I think what's happening now is there's so many chains. In the next few months, you will see cross-chain becoming a very normal thing. Now, actually, cross-chain is the kind of hot thing now. Everyone's like looking for the next multi-chain. Stargate Finance with the latest launch with their Layer 0 and cross-chain. So that is I feel what's happening in these few months. But moving forward in the next 1-2 years, it's still very early to say. I think DAOs are getting a bit of a highlight now. People are looking at DAOs, like really DAOs, not just like, Wonderland is a DAO, not like DeFi 2.0 DAOs as we know, but actual decentralized autonomous organizations. We're talking about a community of people actually pooling money together, and the smart contracts itself are so smart and like no admin keys are with the holders, and also it's fully running on its own, and the governance is deciding everything, how people should be rewarded. Let's say Curve Wars. Imagine Curve Wars no longer fully ran by the community pushing. So it's kind of those kind of things that I see going to be the next thing. But beyond that, I don't know. Anything can happen.
Yeah, you're right.
100%, man.
Alright, just to end off this video, I suppose, any last messages you want to share with perhaps our audience and also your audience, you know? Followers of myDefiGuide and followers of DeFIRL.
I would say if you are looking to get into this and it's overwhelming, it's normal. Do join and do learn from like DeFIRL and myself. I think I wouldn't say that we are the only source of truth, but if you want something more Malaysianized, then yes, here we are.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, and with like where myDefiGuide is headed, we are building something. So if you're keen, come on board. I intend this not to be centralized to just a myDefiGuide thing. Although our brand will be known, always talked about like, hey, let's work together, DeFIRL or anything. I believe it will take a Web3 community to disciple or teach or guide people into Web3. So I'm looking for partnerships. I'm looking at like the future of building things together with you guys, with any Web3 guys. I know Futurists, MOI do a good job on Twitter, Scholar Crypto. Just shout out to these guys that are huge, really. What they do on Twitter and gathering the local community and also the broader community, right, to learn about Web, get into it. We are building, and I'm building something. If you're interested, you can drop me a DM at myDefiGuide. Otherwise, just keep learning and be open. This space is still very new. Come in and be an early adopter.
We are still early.
We're still early. Yeah, if you're watching this, you are still early.
Not financial advice.
We are here. Right,
we are here.
We are here. Yeah. Okay, guys. I think we gotta head for lunch. So gotta unfortunately cut short the podcast just by a little bit. And guys, if you enjoyed the video, if you're all the way until this end, definitely you enjoyed the video. So you are now forced to give it a like and share it with some of your friends and family members who might find this useful. And signing off, see you guys in the next video or podcast.